You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Distracted Dreamer. I am your host, Carlene. And today we're talking about something that often gets completely ignored when it comes to our dreams. We focus on the to-do lists and the action steps, the plans, the research, the learning, the tools, the courses, the spreadsheets. And hey, I get it. I love a good plan. But what we don't talk about enough is who we need to become in order to carry the dream when it actually shows up. Because here's the truth. We can't wait for the dream to change us. We have to start becoming the kind of person that dream requires us to be now. So Mel Robbins says, if you want to be a podcaster, then you got to start acting like one. And it's not about pretending. It's not about faking it till you make it. It's about stepping into the mindset and that energy and that posture of someone who already believes that it's possible. And we live in a culture that really celebrates the doing. And it's not a bad thing. Action, it's beautiful. It builds momentum. It gives us clarity. It teaches us a lot. And it makes the dream real. But sometimes all the doing, it kind of becomes a disguise or a distraction. It's a way to stay busy without actually becoming the version of ourselves that can hold the dream, to sustain it, to grow it, and to live inside of it. And here's the part that no one tells you. Dreams don't just ask for your time and energy. They ask for your transformation. Your dream will require you to grow. Not to become someone else, but to become more of yourself. The braver you, the more grounded you, the more focused you, the more resilient you, whatever it is. So today, I want to invite you to shift the question from what do I need to do for my dreams to who do I need to be for my dreams? And I'm going to start by sharing my own story. I actually think I have two stories here about this podcast and the version of me I had to become to actually make this real. Now, when I first thought about starting a podcast, I thought, well, I need equipment. I need a quiet room and I need a plan. And yes, I needed those things, but not first. What I really needed was to become the version of me who believed that she had something worth saying. I had to become courageous, to speak into a mic, not knowing who is going to listen or what they're going to think. And I also had to become consistent. I have to keep showing up every week, even when it feels like no one is listening. I also had to become curious, not just about the topics that you want to hear, but about myself and how I wanted to connect with you. And I also had to become kind of unapologetic and let my voice take up space without waiting for permission or for the perfect conditions. And most of all, I had to become open-hearted. Is that even a word? Like I had to open my heart to let you in so that I could be real and to create something that felt like an invitation, not a performance. And here's the thing that I hope you hear today, is that whatever dream is tugging at your heart right now, it's not just about what you need to do to make it happen. It's about who you need to become in the process. Okay, I'm being reminded of another story that just popped in my head. I am a planner by nature, and my mom has always said, she's like, you always have all your ducks in a row. And I was like, yes, I do. I was very proud of that. But you know what? Kids, they scatter all those ducks. Kids show up with all their unpredictability, their last minute schedule changes, the spills, the meltdowns, the broken hearts, the colds, the fevers. And when I used to dream about becoming a mom, I had this very unrealistic idea that if I had a plan, if I gave my baby structure, like strict nap times and feeding times, and I made everyone who came within arm's reach wash their hands so they didn't get sick, then everything would be perfect. My baby wouldn't get sick, and I'd sleep when she sleeps. Which, by the way, what is that anyway? Okay, like maybe in the first 3 months you can do that. But long term, how are you supposed to sleep when there's a house to pick up and laundry to do and dishes in the sink and bills to pay and dinner to make, all the stuff? And I guess, okay, my point here is that all great plans involving kids, they eventually crumble. And mine crumbled the day my firstborn, Emily, entered the world prematurely. Everything I had planned, it didn't matter anymore. Man, I got the wake-up call that I am not in charge. And my focus became getting her home from the hospital. And then my focus became watching and tracking every single milestone because, preemies, they're at a high risk of developmental delays, and she's all good. But at the time, I had to become her advocate. And that was just the beginning. I quickly realized as a mom, I had to learn to be flexible. Like a plan, it's great, but I had to be okay with that plan going right out the window most days. And I had to trust myself when everything went sideways. And if you're a mom, you're sitting here probably nodding along, right? Like, yeah, you get this. And I spent so much time stressing about things not going according to plan until one day I realized the plan wasn't the point. It wasn't about nailing every detail. It was about being able to pivot, to problem solve, to be fully present, even when things got really, really messy. I had to trust that I could handle whatever came next because there was always something that came next when you have 3 kids. And then as my girls got older, I realized I needed to be adventurous too. I had no idea that this was going to be a requirement as a parent. So one year we went to Hawaii, and my husband, he booked a submarine tour. I'm claustrophobic. I mean, seriously claustrophobic. And here I am descending what felt like a gazillion feet under the sea in this tiny little capsule. And I was terrified. But I did it because I wanted my girls to see me doing the hard, scary thing. And let's see, then there was the time when we were in Mexico and we were swimming with the dolphins. That's absolutely magical. But it was also a little terrifying for me. And still, I chose to show up. And it was fun. And you know what? I wasn't trying to be the perfect mom with a perfect plan, but I was just the mom who was becoming. I was becoming more brave. I was becoming more playful, and I was becoming more open. Because becoming a mom, what I realized was it's not about having all the answers or always getting it right, because I got it wrong a lot of times, like most moms do. And it was about showing up in the way that they needed me. And in doing that, I became someone new. I was still me, but I was someone better. I was someone more flexible. I was more resilient. I was more courageous. And I was even more adventurous. And so the reason I'm sharing all of this isn't to just sit here and talk about me being a mom. It's because I want you to see that the same thing happens with any dream. It doesn't matter what you're dreaming. Like you could be, I don't know if you're dreaming of starting a podcast or writing a book or traveling the world or launching a business or playing an instrument. The truth is that dream, it's not about what you do to get there. It's about who you need to become. So, with that, I want to invite you to do a little reflection with me right now. There's nothing fancy here. And maybe you can just write some of your thoughts down in a notes app, or if you have pen and paper handy, the old-fashioned way, you can do that too. I just want you to take a moment and to just be honest with yourself. And I want you to think about one dream. Just one. I know that we have tons of ideas out there and everything, but just one dream. And it doesn't even have to be anything that you're working on. It could just be this dream that you've had. And maybe it's the one that's been lingering for years or for months, or maybe it's the one that you just thought of last night. Maybe it's the one that you've been too afraid to actually name. Okay, so just think about that. What's that dream? What's that dream? Come on, you can do it. You got a dream. We all have dreams. You just have to uncover it. And if you're having trouble with this, you should go get my Start Dreaming Again guide. And then you can come back and do this exercise. Now, okay, you got your dream? Great. Okay. Now, if I asked you, what do you need to do to make that dream happen? I bet your brain has a whole checklist ready. Let's look at a few examples here. Let's look at the dream of you want to travel. Most people immediately say, I need to save money. I need to plan the trip. I need to get time off of work. I need to learn the language. But what if instead you asked, who do I need to become to live that dream? You're going to get very different answers. Maybe you need to become brave. Maybe traveling is stressful for you, or you're afraid of going to another culture. Or maybe you need to become resourceful, figure it out. Maybe you need to become adaptable. Yeah, if you're going to another country, you have to become adaptable. They have different traditions, different foods, different languages. You have to be more adventurous. You have to be more open. See, that's very different from the to-dos of, I need to save money, plan the trip, get time off, and learn the language. See, very different. So we want to identify these adjectives of who do I need to become to live that dream? So here's another example. I want to write a book. Most people will say, I need to write every day. I need to outline. I need to find a publisher. I need to take a course. Those are all things that you say that you need to do, and you do need to do those things. But the real question is who do I need to be to write this book? You might need to become disciplined or unfiltered. You need to be honest when you're writing. Or maybe you need to become self-trusting or persistent or bold. Those are very different from I need to write every day. Or how about you have the dream, I want to become a speaker. Most people jump to, well, first I need a website, and then I need to create some Instagram reels. And oh yes, I must have a signature talk. Oh yeah, I need an audience too. But maybe the real dream is asking, who do I need to become to live this dream? So maybe the dream is calling you to become more clear or grounded or more confident or more humble or more honest. Okay, so now it's your turn. So I want you to think back to that dream that you chose. You got it? Okay. Ask yourself, who is the version of me who gets to live that dream? What's she like? What does she speak? How does she move through resistance? How does she take up space? And now what I want you to do is I want you to come up with 5 adjectives that describe who you need to become to not only bring that dream to life, but to carry that dream and to live in that dream. So mine for this podcast looked like I need to become courageous, consistent, curious, unapologetic, and open-hearted. Because you know what? I wasn't all of those things when I started this. And some days I'm still not. But naming them, it helps me walk toward them. So write your 5 adjectives and put them on a sticky note or on your lock screen on your phone and let them guide your decisions more than your to-do list does. And remember, you becoming happens one brave moment at a time. That's how it happens. Now, I know it's tempting to believe that once you check all the boxes, then the dream can begin. That once you've figured it out, once you feel confident, once everything is in place, that you'll be ready. I hear this all the time. I'll start when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet. But you know what I've learned, and I keep learning, is you don't get the dream because you're ready. You become ready because of the dream. The dream actually requires you to grow, not to become someone else, but to become more of yourself. to become those adjectives that you discovered for yourself today. It could be you becoming braver, or you becoming more grounded, or you becoming more focused, or you becoming more curious. And if you ever start to doubt it, come back to those 5 adjectives. Let them remind you of who you're becoming. They are your compass when you feel lost. They're your permission slip when you want to wait for perfect, because perfect doesn't exist. When you're feeling like there's something missing when it comes to bringing your dreams to life, it's likely you. You are the thing that's missing. So you have to remember to shift the question from what do I need to do to who do I need to be? Okay, so this is a quick episode, and I have homework for you today. So I'd love to share in an upcoming episode the 5 adjectives that you uncovered when you answered the question of who do I need to be? What I'm inviting you to do is leave me a text by clicking on the link in the show notes that says, I think it says send Carlene a text or text Carlene. It's pretty clear. And here's exactly what you need to text me. Your first name, your dream in 1 sentence, and the 3 to 5 adjectives of who you're becoming. That's it. Your first name, your dream in 1 sentence, and the 3 to 5 adjectives of who you're becoming. Don't move away from your podcast player until you leave me a text, okay? So go do that, because I want to give you a shout out on one of my next episodes. Now, whatever dream is on your heart right now, you have to trust that it chose you for a reason. We always think that we choose our dreams, but sometimes I think our dreams choose us. And you know what? It chose you not because you have all the answers. It chose you because you're the kind of person who's willing to grow into it. And you know what? Becoming, it's messy. It's not linear. But you know what else it is? It's also life-changing. And you are so much closer than you think. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself today and being here for this conversation. And don't forget to leave me a text. And I will be here next week, ready to welcome you into our next conversation. Until then, bye for now.
Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. The stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.